Her mother wasn't laughing. Allegra heard her say that she was going back to New York. Her father asked her what she expected him to do with the child. He usually referred to her as the child and seldom used her name when he spoke about her, so she assumed the question was about her. He said he would be leaving again in 2 weeks. Isabel said that Allegra could stay at the house in Washington with Anna. She couldn't take a child with her. She was planning to stay with friends. Allegra's father said that was impossible. The child needed at least one parent with her, and Isabel said she wasn't going to be it. Allegra tiptoed away quietly, deciding it wasn't the right time to enter the kitchen. She was frightened and confused. Her heart was beating fast. If her mother was leaving and couldn't take her, and her father was going away again, and she couldn't stay alone in Washington with Anna unless she had a parent with her, what was going to happen to her? What did it mean for her? She hardly ever saw her paternal grandparents, and they were very old. Her mother had said her parents weren't an option either. Allegra went back upstairs to her room and sat on her bed with her teddy bear in her arms. His name was George. She had to wait for them to tell her where she was going. When she walked back to her room, Allegra saw her mother's suitcases lined up outside her bedroom. She'd seen her packing the day before. Her pretty dresses had been laid out on her bed. Allegra guessed that she was going to a party in New York. She always took a lot of clothes with her. But this time, she was taking even more. Allegra sat quietly on her bed for a long time, waiting for them to come to see her. She wasn't hungry anymore. She heard a car come then and voices downstairs. She heard footsteps on the landing. They came and went for a little while, and then the front door closed. The car drove away, and no one came to her room to see her. Her father didn't come up for a long time. She waited all day. They had forgotten her. They did that sometimes when they were busy. And then the door opened, and her father walked in. He was wearing his uniform, and he looked very serious. He looked at her sitting on her bed with the bear in her arms. He stared at her for a minute. She was a tiny miniature of her mother with the same red hair and green eyes, possibly an unwelcome reminder now. Then finally, he spoke. "Your mother has gone away," he said in a solemn voice. He hesitated for an instant, and then added, "She's not coming back." He waited, not knowing what else to say, and then he turned around and left and closed the door softly behind him. He had forgotten that there was no one in the house to feed Allegra since it was Anna's day off. It didn't matter. Allegra wasn't hungry anyway. She sat looking at the door, holding George tightly in her arms. Her father hadn't told her where she was going, or if she was going anywhere. She had no idea what was to become of her. All she could think of was that her mother had forgotten to say goodbye when she left. Her father always told her to be brave, so she didn't cry in case he came back to her room. But he didn't. She curled up into a ball in her bed, holding George, until she fell asleep. The briefly torrid affair between Bradley Dixon and Isabel Vanderholt had lasted months, and the marriage 7 years. Everything about it was improbable. She was a golden girl, a dazzling young debutante turned socialite in New York, the wild child of the ultra-respectable Vanderholts. At 18, after graduating from an exclusive private girls' school in New York, she had no interest in college. She had fallen in with the fashionable underground elite of the city, with Andy Warhol and his entourage. She was a nightly regular at Studio 54, known as a modern-day Gomorrah, a hotbed of drugs and disco, socialites mingling with musicians, Hollywood stars, and a hefty dose of appealing riffraff. The ambiance was racy and unsuitable. Her parents had long since given up trying to rein her in. She was their only child. A trust fund set up by her paternal grandparents gave her total autonomy at 21. Her parents couldn't stop her. She was beautiful and young and wild, with Rita Hayworth looks and a body to match. She'd been paired with various inappropriate people, including her